Memory transcription subject, Governor Tava of the Venlil Republic. Date, standardized human time, February 9th, 2137. The rest of the summit was uneventful, with standard diplomatic talks setting a mundane atmosphere that reminded me of any other bureaucratic affair. My speech railed against the actions of the archives, taken against herbivores for seeking self-determination. I appealed to the connections the Venlil held for centuries, and what the Federation was supposed to stand for. Exchange program guests followed me, talking about the connections they forged with predators. Braylon and Laulo spoke about why they helped Earth, testifying to humanity's innocence. Most of the speakers, however, were human. Ambassador Williams got a proper stint on stage with a heavily prepared statement rehashing what he'd said on Arthur in full detail. Secretary General Zhao handed the floor off to undersecretaries to detail various tenets of the Charter. Extradition, interstellar police, and travel policies were proposed, followed by opinions on which substances should be controlled. Currency exchanges, labor laws, and trade were discussed by another human official. The tricky issue was that of exterminators and the environment, after the next term floated the idea of conservation. While the notion of preserving predators had been scrubbed from their speech, other diplomats caught on to the underlying intent. The humans deflected back to monitoring ecosystem impacts and preventing threats to sustainability. Their immediate pivot to colonization procedures and settling territorial disputes through the Coalition Forum wasn't lost on me. It was brave of Zhao to subtly throw condemnation on the Guild before any signatories have committed to his coalition. The humans truly hate exterminators and predator disease. Terrans didn't need to raise the issue of predator disease beyond Sarah Rosario claiming she would share research in the interest of cooperation and transparency. I had a sneaking suspicion that humans would use the Universal Declaration of Sapient Rights to lobby for the humane treatment of mentally ill individuals. Talsk was also kicked down the road, to be decided by whoever chose to join the coalition. Overall, the predators covered all their bases and managed not to garner too much outrage from coveted allies. The AXA visit and the anti-exterminator guests muddied the waters, so we'd have to see whether those occurrences would have negative impacts on the vote.
Boo!
Ambassador Williams wrapped his arms around me from behind and rested his chin on my shoulders.
Oh, I didn't scare you a little. I wanted a little payback for all the times Venlil approached from the side, forgetting we can't see you.
You know what still scares me about you, Noah? How much I love you, I murmured. The human released his grip.
Perhaps we feel the same. How deep is your love? So fearsome that it rocks the soul like a gust.
You've said that before, haven't you?
I might have been writing a poem for you for Valentine's. That day doesn't mean a thing to you, so I guess I can relay part of it now. It's not very good anyway.
Go on. I need something to give me confidence. I'm the first on the voters' roster. For all I know, I'll be the only yes vote.
Okay. Since I've met you, love is not just a word. It sinks deep within, unspoken and unheard. A passion that blows all concerns to dust, so fearsome that it rocks the soul like a gust. To rest certain that I am understood and secure, I'll cherish you forever to see that we'll endure. Well, Tava, I know it's corny and short, but maybe the thought...
I chuckled. That was actually pretty good. I could hear the rhyme and flow before I caught the meaning. Who knew my science dork was a poet?
It can be our secret. Right, I think they're about to call for the votes, so I can stop embarrassing myself. Good luck, Governor.
I could sense Noah winking at me, even through his eye visor, just by the slight movement of his facial muscles. The Secretary General had been delivering a formal thanks to the attendees, and I could see the nervousness in his stance. He summoned me as the first voter, symbolic of how we were humanity's original friends, and asked for the others to form a queue. Each diplomat obliged, and I waltzed past the various aliens. Their expressions were impermeable, granting no insight to their votes. I accepted the microphone from Zhao, who offered a few gracious claps. Hello. There has never been a species which I loved as much as my own. I love Terrans for their caring nature and their innocence. Despite all that has happened, humanity hasn't lost themselves. They never wavered in their commitment to peace, even as they were forced into a grim war they wanted no part in. I'm proud to announce that the Venlil Republic will join the Sapient Coalition alongside our wonderful friends. Zhao embraced me in a hug before I dismounted the stage with polite tail swishes to the audience. Noah gave me an encouraging nod as I returned. My stomach was a bundle of nerves. How many species would be willing to join the Predators' alliance? There was no guarantee leaders wouldn't get cold feet or dither over the UN's Arctic ties. Ambassador Laulo was mounting the stage, which brought me relief. The O'Toole rushed to the front of the queue. If anyone votes yes, it should be him. This could give humanity's cause some momentum. Laulo surveyed the audience.
What humanity proposed for contacting other cultures is certainly better than the Federation's heavy-handed annihilation and the mockery that ensues. The O'Toole were looked down upon and silenced, but the Predators never hesitated to stand up for us as equals. They want us all to be equal. I finally have the respect I thought I'd never get. The O'Toole offer a resounding yes vote and pledge everything we can offer to the ideals of the Sapient Coalition.
The marsupial flicked his ears in gratitude, and Zhao returned the gesture as best he could by dipping his head. Gajid Minister Kiri was trundling up the stage, and I recalled her desire of safety for her people's remnants. It wasn't clear if she'd see that safety in a union formed by the species the Gajid had been at war with mere months ago. Additionally, the spiky leader had been displeased about the humans defending the exact Axa responsible for the Cradle's fall. This vote could be a curt no. Kiri curled her claws around the microphone.
Colonies and refugees. That is all we have left. We wouldn't have that without the Predators. The people we attacked, fighting and dying to save us while we wanted to kill them. They were honorable in a way we did not deserve. You know, we never officially ceased our war with humanity. Let my yes vote as the highest remaining member of the Gajidi Union serve to erase all uncertainty. We are on Earth's side today.
That was a surprise. I could feel the tension lifting from the Predator diplomats as the first few votes turned in their favor. Each commitment injected a dose of positivity into the dialogue around humanity. After constant suspicion and accusations, the genuine kindness was moving a few primates to tears. They deserved to hear affirmative messages from all of us at the summit. I squeezed Noah's wrist with my tail. Xerillian Prime Minister Braylon took the stage next.
We healed innocent civilians in the aftermath of Earth, where 1 billion lives were taken without cause. We've seen their homeworld, and their doctor's code has reminded us of our purpose: to do no harm. My brother's pleas to give humanity a chance were a gift to my administration. Colia and her government votes to join the Sapient Coalition by the Parliament's decision, 62-3.
Unsurprisingly, the 3 species who came to Earth's aid all were early votes to join humanity's league. A positive start, though our voting record can't stay perfect forever, can it? Thafki Representative Telekin followed the quadrupeds, a nervous look on his face.
The Federation allowed us to die for the crime of having a semi-aquatic nature. I guess it's no surprise that they never offered once to help us rebuild our lost heritage and home. You know who extended that offer the first time we met face to face? The humans. The Thafki advocacy for this alone votes to join the Sapient Coalition.
Considering how quickly the blue-grey ambassador had been to run from the bar and avoid Zhao's exposed eyes, that was a surprise. Telekin wanted to open full diplomatic relations with Predators. Thafki acceptance was an encouraging indicator to the temperature of the room. If the United Nations could deliver on the promise of a proper colony, that would be invaluable in helping the advocacy return to relevance.
What more do we need to say than saving Koa?
Mazik President Kupo asked, succeeding the Thafki.
The people we thought were our friends came to conquer us, while the Predators we doubted and scorned saved us for nothing in return. The Presidium remembers this, and we issue unconditional acceptance to take our place within the Sapient Coalition.
Noah snorted to himself.
Long way from never trusting Predators, huh?
Your speech is the reason Kupo and all these species started on the path to accepting humans, I whispered. You're the original inspiration, the spark that lit the fire. The Unkari and Verin ambassadors took the stage together, with the former speaking for both.
We are grateful the Salians put us in touch with humanity. Many neutral parties had time to rethink the Terrans and who they are as a race. When we learned we were former omnivores, we felt alone. The Predators welcomed us, and everyone who lost their heritage. The Unkari and Verin governments stand together as deepest allies for this unequivocal step of joining the Sapient Coalition.
That left 8 entrants into our union, with no votes to oppose them. The humans could hardly contain their jubilance, and there were 30 species remaining to speak. Quick acceptance speeches from the Drilvar and the galactically distant Paltons rounded out the numbers to 10. The United Nations had cynical expectations before this summit commenced, stating they'd be happy with a mere dozen allies. Despite all that had gone wrong, enough sentiment had swung in our favour. Tillfish Governor Burla scuttled to the podium.
My thanks to the Terrans is a personal one, for saving me, my son, and helping me with a troubling concern. They could have done anything when they accepted our surrender, but they're giving us a chance at freedom. They fought for Silis, even when it seemed like they'd left, in spite of our participation in the raid. We don't deserve to join the Sapient Coalition, but I accept the offer with gratitude.
The Harchin, the other vassal, mirrored that sentiment before relinquishing the podium to the Fissons. Ambassador Halmina seemed pleased to have reached the stage before the Nivok successor to Tossa, and declared that she'd join, since the coalition might soon be the only bargaining opportunity left. Eager to outshine their rivals, Tossa's replacement went on a lengthy tirade about how the humans needed the Nivoks. Both hypercapitalist species signed on, though their speeches weren't quite as inspiring as the others. 4 converted neutrals followed, each penning the dotted line. The Salian Iftalis trotted onto the stage, suggesting they'd been smoothing the waters and guiding the last few speakers. I thought they were a certain vote to join humanity's team after all the diplomatic legwork they'd done. However, I was curious to see what the sister species from a single world had to say about our predator friends. Noah had his 2 fingers twisted atop each other, hoping that the perfect voting streak would hold up throughout the tally. They all love you, I whispered to the astronaut. Everything you've done has mattered to a lot of people. The Terran ambassador bobbed his head.
Sometimes I thought no one would ever see us as anything more than monsters. It felt like no matter what we did, it wasn't appreciated.
That's not true. Listen to what they're saying. All the things you've done in such a short time. He's a duo that are sure to sing your praises.
Humanity answered the call when we discovered our sister species had been slighted.
The Salian ambassador was saying.
What they gave us was the scientific truth, derived from a methodology of scraping fact from bits of stone. They then risked their lives to recover the archive's info and give us concrete answers. We decide who we are, like Zhao said, and that's humanity's friends. The dual species of Jild will join the coalition.
That was only the beginning of the tide of agreement. 7 more species accepted the proposal, and a palpable fog of emotion hung in the room. It would mean a lot to humanity if every species here voted to join. My pleasure was soured as Noela took the stage. She'd helped green-light the bombs that struck Earth's flesh before she turned separatist. Hopefully the crocodile had the sense to see that her species didn't belong in the humans' inner circle. Whatever Zhao espoused about an olive branch, the Terrans didn't deserve to interact with their arch-enemies on a daily basis. The Tillfish and Harchin should have had the decency to reject the offer too, but the crocodile are particularly egregious. Noela tossed her sunset orange beak, shaking out her feathers.
I offered to turn myself in the first time I could speak to Zhao alone here. Unfortunately, he expressed no desire to have me charged. The humans were innocent, and we persecuted them to no end. I came here to apologize, but if they wish for the crocodile to join, I must honor their wishes. Whatever I have belongs to the Sapient Coalition. We're in.
A few disgruntled murmurs passed through the crowd, but the representatives held their tongues, knowing that humanity would strike down discrimination on their floor. 3 yes voters followed the avian, but my focus wandered. My thoughts briefly flitted to the election and how joining with this many species after the break from the Federation might turn voters against me. If securing the Venlil Republic's place in galactic politics was my last act, I could live with that. The race would be a challenge, but it would be arduous for Veln to pull us out of the coalition. Unity in the face of this war, and motivation given through outside kindness is what humanity needs to make the final push to Arthur. Forget your competition at home, Tava. Let Noah and Zhao etch this feeling into their memories. Species after species passed by Zhao, and the line dwindled without a single species rejecting a spot in our team. I thought about Elias Meyer's vision of galactic peace, and his desperate outreach to anyone who would listen. The current Secretary-General had brought that dream to fruition, and made prudent moves on the warfront to fend off the Federation at the same time. Despite my early doubts, Zhao had proved a worthy successor to lead Earth, and pursued harmony from his own angles. I could sense he was proud of pulling the summit off.
So we're the last ones. All of you have chosen your side.
The final species in the line was Allah, the Dosser ambassador who'd kept to the back to avoid being stepped on.
Milu has been captured for months by a fleet larger than any we've seen. The humans have given everything they can to saving us, and they're the reason anyone, including myself, escaped. Being one of the larger species makes them intimidating, but I find they have larger hearts in turn. Their compassion is their greatest strength. The Federation pushed us into their arms, so it's a given that we join this alliance.
Silence permeated the auditorium, with the tally remarkably sitting at a unanimous vote to join. The chorus of heartfelt praises to humanity, the predator species that opened all of our eyes, was still ringing in our host's ears. Noah sank to his knees and wept, unable to fathom such decisive support being lent to Earth. If one species was worth sacrificing his life on Alpha, how much more did 38 friends mean to my astronaut? I wrapped a paw around his shoulder and tugged his shaking head toward me.
Oh, Tava. After everything that's happened to Earth, it's really nice to know that I set some positive events in motion.
Noah sniffled.
Why couldn't it always have been like this? There's nothing I wouldn't have done.
Mucus dropped from his bruised nose as the emotions he'd been carrying spilled out. Secretary General Zhao had wandered back to the podium, head briefly turning toward us. Other aliens were watching us, though their attention quickly shifted back to the Chinese diplomat. The UN leader couldn't find the words to address the crowd, and he swallowed a lump in his own throat. I could see that he was choked up, though he managed to get out a few words.
We have work to do, friends.
The human coughed, clearing his throat.
Thank you. Only now can I truly say that humanity is not alone in the universe. We're going to make this community special, because we must. Together, we'll turn the tides of this war and restore autonomy to every world. Now, before we pack this up, let's have a celebration of us.
After extending their hands in a plea for friendship for months, humanity had found the eager comrades they desired. I soothed the overwhelmed Noah and thought about how far I'd come from seeing him as a despicable monster. The Terrans deserved an outcome that was in their favor without any caveats. For the first time since their introduction to the galaxy, events had shaken out that way. My gaze swept over the various diplomats, considering how this diverse alliance would approach the challenges that faced us all. The Predators had much to teach everyone here about civility. I had faith that we could come up with solutions to our dilemmas and undo the crushing dogma that pervaded our societies. The future could be bright under Earth's guidance, paving the way for better days to come.